Hey y'all, it's me, Bus Stop, and welcome back to Hot or Hot. And today we will be reviewing episode 4 of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 10, the Tournament of All-Stars, where we were introduced to the 6 members of our pink bracket. And this week, our 6 queens were challenged to create a look using unconventional materials found in large Magic 8 balls for the Magic 8 Ball Ball. But with a kind of disappointing twist, because y'all wanted twisty, that this ball only featured one look, the one they created there. And like, maybe I've been spoiled by Drag Race, but why are we just calling the regular design challenges balls now? Because like, especially with only 6 queens here, yeah, I wanted a few more runways to look at. But we'll be going queen by queen to break down everyone's look, as well as discussing the plethora of drama from our shady ladies in this episode as we go. We've got Mistress versus Tina, Tina trying to take home Lydia B Kollins, and Nicole Paige Brooks versus the world. But before we talk to you about this episode, I thought we'd go ahead and catch up on the overflowing pot of tea and drama that was brewed this past week between Irene Dubois and her now former drag daughter, Arrietty. So let's start with this truly wild series of events, which was all seemingly kicked off by what Irene said last week at a Roscoe's viewing party. When Irene was asked by the Roscoe's hosts if she was able to help Arrietty prepare for season 17, and if Arrietty was also able to help Irene prepare for All-Stars, Irene simply responds,
"No comment."
Which of course got all the little Drag Race tea sippers online bubbled up, wondering what the heck she meant by that. And Irene didn't elaborate here, but fortunately for us, Mistress Isabelle Brooks was already on the case. In a video posted to her channel this week titled Interviewing Celebrity Icons at the All-Stars 10 premiere party, Mistress is talking to Irene and says that a fan asks Irene the question, "Why did you let Arrietty go on Drag Race without any other skills than sewing?" To which Irene responds,
I actually gave her a whole rundown on what she should be doing on the show, and she didn't listen to me.
Mistress then goes on to ask Irene, how would you describe your relationship with Arrietty, who is or was your drag daughter? To which Irene responds, not any longer. Mistress then follows up with the question, do you think that relationship could be saved? To which Irene says, no, flat out. And then elaborates, I never forgive somebody who F's with my money, my character, or my man. And while that tea was hot, you better listen up because I've got something for you that you won't want to miss. I'm talking free epic and legendary champions plus starter packs so juicy for this game they'll make your head spin. So I've been playing Raid for several years now, and I can tell you firsthand, this game has only gotten better with time because the developers are constantly releasing new content and champions. And one of my favorite factions of champions is the Sylvan Watchers, a group of elusive and mysterious champions who made their home in Mistwood, a huge jungle east of Teleria. Check out Yastrid Dreamsong, who can sleep foes, AoE groups of enemies, and even buff her team's speed. Plus y'all know she's got all the Coachella girlies shaking with that flower crown and hot fit. But if buff tree dudes are more your thing, check out Tree Shield Knot, who's got abs of, well, wood, who can heal and revive your fallen champions. I love building out teams of powerful champions to play the campaign, take on tough dungeons like the Fire Golem, and even battle other users in the PvP arena. Download Raid using my special link or scan the QR code on screen right now. When you do, you'll get a huge starter pack with tons of resources, an epic champion, Kellan the Shrike from the Sylvan Watchers faction. And then once you reach level 15, you'll get another starter pack with epic champion Uugo. But that's not all. After you download Raid using my special link, make sure to redeem the code TreeHugger in game to get legendary champion Green Warden Ruard. That's right, Raid's giving all new players 3 amazing gifts to help you get a head start in the game, but only when you download Raid using my link. So do that right now, and once you're in, find me under the name Bussy Queen, and make sure to join my clan that I created just for us, Bussy Queen's Army. Thanks Raid for sponsoring today's video. Then seemingly in response to this interview that went live on Mistress's channel, Arrietty took to X/Twitter to say this: if y'all only knew the real tea. Confused emoji. I'm gonna keep it cute because I'm trying to grow. Aren't we all? Which she then followed up with a bit of a tweet spiral, writing, so yes, the drama was about money. I produced and booked a show in Seattle. I invited Irene to come host. She got on the race and got a raise. Cool. I got on the race and all of a sudden money is tight? Okay, so as a producer/booker, I tried to plan a way to divvy up the earnings, which is exactly what show producers do. It's not a crazy or wild concept. Every show producer deals with this. She didn't want to make any changes and it looks like I was trying to steal/mess with her money. It was $50, y'all. $50 out of her 1K. And to be frank, her friends hated me already, so at this point, she already had made up her mind about me. She just needed a reason to call it quits. Period. That's the story. So no, it wasn't character. You did that to yourself when you said and did racist and everyone hated you a while back, remember? And no, it definitely wasn't man, because I'm gonna be perfectly clear. I F men. Where Arrietty then goes on to make some pretty crazy accusations against Irene, alleging that she is performing some illegal activities, which I have had to censor in this video due to the nature of the topic and what she's accusing Irene of. But if you do want to read the rest of this tweet, I've linked to some Reddit threads you can check out down below. Arrietty then went on to elaborate on some of those accusations, alleging that Irene's friends were even aware of these certain preferences she was alleging Irene had. And regarding the other accusation of racism that Arrietty brought up in the other tweet, she says, "And the racism, just ask the POC girls that aren't cool with her now about it. There are many queens that have called her racist in recent years, some still work with her." And then later, seemingly poking fun at the money character and man comment Irene made in the Mistress Isabelle Brooks interview, Irene posted a poll to her ex profile saying, "Now I want to hear from the fans. Which one do y'all think I effed with? Money, character, man." And again, I want to highlight here the accusations Arrietty was making against Irene were fully unsubstantiated, and there was no proof or evidence of anything she was accusing her of having actually had happened. And because of all these accusations, Arrietty was receiving tons of pushback from fans and other queens alike, which I guess made her finally come to her senses. She ended up deleting all these tweets about Irene and then posted an apology to her social profiles, writing this: "Good evening. On Tuesday, despite my best efforts to remain composed and rise above the gossip, I allowed a moment of anger and weakness to override my better judgment. In an instinctive attempt to protect myself, I reacted to speculation that stemmed from comments made by Irene. I deeply regret responding impulsively and acknowledge that what I said, particularly the insinuations I made, caused harm. After a conversation with Irene herself, we decided a public statement was necessary. I want to take full responsibility for the language I used, including the words and racist. While they were intended as exaggerations, I now understand that they were not only inappropriate, but also deeply hurtful and unnecessary. I am truly sorry for any pain or discomfort my words may have caused." And as of the time I'm recording, there are no public statements regarding the situation from Irene herself, and she in fact is not even on the X platform anymore. But we did see a post to Irene's drag sister Norvina's story, which featured a photo of her and Mistress, where she wrote in the top corner in tiny font, "Just know it's her fault." They're seemingly joking that this whole situation was brewed up and caused by the notorious stirrer Mistress Isabelle Brooks, which is a descriptor I use about her in a loving way. So that's that tea. And now in the order they hit the runway today, first up, the competition's really heating up. It's Jorgeous, who in her entrance look is kind of giving us like a play on the birth of Venus, I think, with those giant fabric panels behind her, evoking that seashell fantasy. And I also love how she has played with movement against the structure of that bodice with those giant beads dangling along the trim. And while I don't think the style is anything new for Jorgeous, it feels very from her All Stars 9 wardrobe, I do think this look is really beautiful and it's a great opener for the season. I'm gonna give this look a hot. But moving into her design challenge, let's first not forget that Jorgeous is coming into this having infamously won her season 14 design challenge with a cookie cutter swimsuit situation. The question here is, can Jorgeous follow up her own winning design challenge legacy? A question which I think here today has both a yes and no answer. Yes, because I do think the outfit she constructed today is a lot more technically proficient than the one she created on season 14. She's got a great silhouette, and I love how the bra piece comes up in those sharp points and how those points are contrasted with the dangly, flowy fabric panel that is in front of her between her legs. She's also done some good trim work, and the structure is nice, and overall, I would say she looks really great on the runway. But I also didn't love exactly how Jorgeous combined all these different types of fabrics and colors and patterns and textures. Some of the placement of like the black, and then the yellow with the hardware, and then the dark blue on the chest, and then the floral pattern print, all coming together like in that chest area was just a little visually assaulting to me. And while I will say I do think she was kind of a victim of the materials she was given, it also does give the vibe when I look at this look that she was sitting there thinking, okay, now I've got to use this. What do I do with this? Okay, I'm gonna put it here. Now I've got to use this. Okay, I'm gonna put that here. The end result, again, was just a little messy to me. But overall, I would leave this look with a warming up. Ms. Jorgeous also had quite a few headbutting situations with Nicole Paige Brooks in the workroom and in Untucked, where Jorgeous was feeling very attacked by Nicole, who was kind of continuously digging into her for various things. At one point, she's saying that Jorgeous had to wear extra long hair to cover the hems in her dress. And then when Nicole's called out for calling out Jorgeous so much, she then reads Jorgeous for having lipstick on her teeth. And Well, I'm sure Jorgeous was feeling very attacked. I wasn't really getting the feeling that Nicole was being malicious. More so, she was just having fun and being playful. But I will definitely be keeping an eye on how these two are interacting, because it's clear Jorgeous isn't totally receptive to the way Nicole's communicating with her. And next up, the legacy, the dynasty, the beauty is here. It's Kerri Colby, who in her entrance look looks absolutely phenomenal. I love this fit she's wearing. She's wearing this blazer pantsuit situation, which is seemingly precariously placed on the front of her chest, where we can see the really cool detail of her having the Colby Co. fashion label right there inside of the shirt. On this look, I'll just go ahead and say it's probably my favorite from the entire episode. I'm gonna give it a hot. But over on the runway, the look she created today didn't quite rise up, I think, to the heights of fashion served by her entrance look. But before we talk about the collection of items she used to create what she's wearing today, let me firstly say Kerri looks fucking gorgeous. She knows that, the judges know that, we know that, but let's not all sit here and pretend like this runway is eating, because to me, it's not. I was gooped and gagged that the judges are just gonna sell us the propaganda that this look was like super fierce and like worthy of an all-stars design challenge, because it wasn't. The top part of her look, I think, is created from fabric panels that she's twisted and braided, which wasn't, I don't think, a bad idea to approach creating the garment, but the end result of what she made there for the bra just looks really chunky and messy, and it's clear she was just kind of looking for a way out of using the sewing machine. And again, maybe the bra thing could have worked if what was happening in the bottom part of the outfit made more sense with the bra, because the bottom, I don't know what I'm looking at. It is like a collection of strips. We've got the white strip with the silver grommets, that's like the top part of the skirt, and then attached to that are like those chains of beads that you might see, I think, hanging in like a doorway, like a hippie's house, or maybe they're like those beaded wooden seat covers you would see in a car. I don't know exactly what they are, but I think the way she used them was not transformative enough, and I also just don't think they made any sense with the underskirt or the white grommeted belt thing happening there. It's very messy overall, and I'm gonna have to give this look a Next up, she's back again. It's Lydia B Kollins, who in her entrance look comes out giving us potato sack, Miss Potato Head realness. Where on the front of this look, she has her name, the year she was born, and a nice little drawing of a pile of potatoes. And this look, I'm definitely gonna give a ton of creativity points for. I don't think we've ever quite seen a potato sack runway on Drag Race. I also really liked the demon face or cat head bag that she's carrying down the runway with this. I think that was really cute. I will say visually, I think there's some awkwardness in the neck and chest area here, but overall, this was fun, and I'm gonna give this a hot. And over on the runway, I was gooped and gagged to see her open this magic 8-ball and pull out black and white zebra print and pink and green fabrics. Because the materials she was given here were very reminiscent, at least to me, to the materials she used to create her design challenge looks in season 17, like the Betsy Johnson one, and then of course the one she was sent home in with the black and white. And so I'm not sure if she lucked out or if this was like a weird sleight of hand by the producers to give her materials and patterns they knew she would enjoy. I don't know. But it is smelling a little bit like rigor mortis up in here. The final look Lydia's created, though, is definitely, I think, an improvement from the previous design challenge looks we've seen her create. She's seemingly editing her design mind a lot more, and there's not like an overwhelming amount of things going on in this look. She has a zebra cat suit, a green piece of fabric that's kind of draped around her body, and then my favorite part of the look are actually the pink leg warmers and gloves, which are made out of the same material, and I really like the rouging that she's done on those. Overall, this look feels really cohesive and complete, especially against a backdrop of queens in looks tonight that I think were overall kind of messy. And even though it's not my favorite look, I do appreciate that she knew the aesthetic she wanted to go for, which was that crazy 80s workout thing meshed with her alternative style, and I do appreciate her skill in creating this look. So I'm gonna give this a hot. And while Lydia wasn't really directly involved with drama this episode, there's an interesting relationship between her and Mistress Isabelle Brooks brewing in the background, because we do hear Lydia ask Mistress directly, can I be your drag daughter if we both end up in the top this week? But based on their discussion in Untucked, it didn't really seem like Mistress was ready to accept that Lydia might be in the top this week and offered several critiques on her look. But maybe to Mistress's surprise, shock, and awe, Lydia did end up in the top while Mistress didn't. So it's unclear what exactly is going to be happening here between these two with the drag mother-daughter situation. But Mistress does playfully refer to her as her daughter throughout the episode, I think trying to like test her and see if she's ready, but does also say in a confessional that Lydia may not be evil enough to join her drag family. Only time will tell. And next up, what's the mother chucking tea? It's Mistress Isabelle Brooks, who in her entrance look is giving us all black sequence applique pageant perfection drag. And this feels very classic Mistress, but elevated for all stars. I think this is really pretty on her. And while it's probably not a look that I'm gonna remember remember even an hour from now. I've seen so much Drag Race, it just kind of goes in one ear and out the other at this point. It is a pretty look, and I'm gonna give it a But over the runway, the materials she receives are, dare I say, very jersey-looking fabrics and prints, and I think she did a really great job turning what could have been just a trashy look into something pretty classy. I love that she went the full 9 yards and showed off her technical proficiency by creating a boned corset complete with trim and even some bead lining on the bottom. And I think her color choices and placements of that bronzy against that tiger print orange for the skirt trumpet dress were really tasteful. And I was seeing some people talking shit about her hair online, but I actually love this hair. Like, this was perfect. She sold me that almost kind of like nanny kind of fantasy with the prints and the colors and everything, and I like this. The only 2 notes I would give this look if I were on the judging panel are something about her padding seemed kind of off to me. Like, usually she's a little more full-bodied in the waist down through the thighs, but something about it seemed kind of scrunched up on the butt area. And I also really would have liked to have seen Mistress use the blue that was in the purse somewhere else in the outfit just to bring it all together. Overall, though, I really enjoyed Mistress's look, and I'm gonna give it a I was a little confused by the judges' feedback on this look because Michelle reads her for seeing this silhouette before, but I'm really not exactly sure what Michelle is talking about here, because when I think of Mistress back on season 15, I think of these dresses that mostly cut off at like mid-thigh, and if she wasn't wearing one of those, which she did wear several of, it was like a full-body catsuit or chaps. And there's maybe like 1 or 2 looks from all the things she did on season 15 that I think could maybe be translated as looking like this silhouette. But also, like, that was 2 years ago. This is a new season, and like, we've only had 1 episode with Mistress, and like, so what if she did reuse a silhouette that works for her? I'm not mad at it. Anyways, Miss Smother Tucking T herself, of course, got involved in a little bit of drama this episode with Miss Turn It and Burn It Tina Burner. After their entrances, Mistress starts off some playful shade and tea and drama between them, asking Tina, hey, where's that rainbow wig? They're referring to a Twitter post Mistress made a while back featuring a photo of Tina in a crazy rainbow wig, where Mistress just wrote, good morning. And this probably would have been dropped by Tina, but Mistress wanted to poke the bear a little bit more, and while the girls are getting ready in the workroom for this episode, Mistress brings up that Skittles wig again, which prompts Tina to confront Mistress and say, hey, weren't you the one that slid into my DMs? Where Mistress does admit that yes, she reached out to Tina to address the meme situation she created, but what actually transpired in those DMs, I can't really say. I'm not even sure if they can really say. We don't know. The receipts are still printing. Maybe we'll see them one day. Who knows? But until those receipts are printed, I will leave this section with this. Good morning. And next up, is anybody craving cherry pie? It's Nicole Paige Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia, which apparently is what the acronym after the NPG in the name she often posts online means. I can't spell it out or say it because of YouTube's demonetization policies, but you know what I mean. For her entrance look though, Nicole's giving us a kind of Madame Southern Belle pageanty look in all red with Brooks written across her pelvis. And while I don't think this is like the most exciting look, it is kind of funny just in the sense that it has this stupidity to it, but also glamour, and also does, I think, show a new elevated side of her that we haven't seen before. So I'm gonna give this look a but over on the runway, God save this queen. This look didn't, I think, turn out how she wanted. And at first, she was creating a different silhouette completely. We're in the workroom, we see a shawl situation, but RuPaul calls this out as looking too similar to her entrance look. And so Nicole pivots and ends up with this swimsuit mess. The inspiration for this look, though, is apparently an outfit worn by Suzanne Barch, which, when they showed the photo of the reference, I was kind of gagging a little bit because it was literally DeJa Skye's entrance look. And I'm not sure if DeJa borrowed the outfit from Suzanne, or maybe they used the same designer, but identical looks here, people. And Nicole tops it off with the Holy Trinity. Anyways, what is working in this swimsuit look is Nicole's body. Body is tea. The legs, gorgeous. Silhouette, she's snatched. But this swimsuit is very Jorgeous season 14 swimsuit thing with cookie cutters. Like, literally just that, but blue. And the thing is, while this look isn't great, I think some small changes could have elevated it just a little bit. Like if she had used a cutout pattern for the stars instead of them looking all wonky, and if she maybe had like an updo hair, and maybe just scrapped the like stars coming off of her waist idea completely, because those, they're not working. So I'm gonna give this look a rot. As a queen though, I could not get enough of Nicole Paige Brooks on my TV screen. I am obsessed with her. She's such a vibe because she is reading all of the queens left and right, and some of them don't even know how to process or respond to the constant playful reads from her. But it's just so fun to watch Nicole interact with these queens because you can just see the ocean of difference between a drag queen who's been on the scene for 30 years and some of these newer queens who, you know, have been doing drag for like 5-6 years or whatever. And I'm not sure if these were intentional reads, but she was at one point calling Jorgeous gorgeous and Mistress Isabelle Brooks Isabella. But either way, I'm enjoying me some Nicole Paige Brooks, and I can't wait to see what she does next week. And last but not least, let's turn it and burn it. It's Tina Burner, who in her entrance look is showing us an all silver chrome look with a lot of drama in the way it comes up around her face and some really chic latex gloves. And overall, I would say this look is hot. It feels grander than what she did previously on season 13, and thankfully isn't made of red, orange, and yellow colors. Concerning what she did in the design challenge though, when I first turned on this episode and realized that they gave a ball challenge to Tina Burner, who was infamously dog-piled on for having bad runways in her original season, I was kind of gooped and gagged. I was sitting there thinking, oh, they really wanted to set Miss Doll up. But Tina said, not today, Satan. I am coming to turn and burn and create the best garments probably anyone has ever created on Drag Race, technically speaking. Look at this coat. This is crazy. I love the color, the material, the way she's put the fur on the collar and around the cuffs on the sleeves, and also how she smartly lined this coat with the red fabric is gorgeous. But that's not all, because when that comes off, we see how amazingly chic these gold pants are. The length is perfect. There's a perfect break at the heel in the bottom part of those pants. The waist is like cinching and comes up to a really fun height. And she's playing up the camp of this uptown rich lady vibe that she's giving off with the cigarettes in case that she's matched to her red shoes. This is the best constructed outfit on the stage tonight, and stylistically speaking, even if this isn't your cup of tea, I think you gotta recognize that she slayed the house down boots in this outfit. Yes, God. Okay. This look was hot. What I found interesting and a little hard to watch at times was the courting of Lydia that Tina was trying to do in the workroom. She had that fishing line out, and she was either looking for, as she later says in Untucked, a twink to collect, or an alliance partner. Neither of which Lydia was seeming to bite on. But props to her for trying, I guess. But I did feel a little bit bad for her because it didn't seem like anyone was like ready or willing to form an alliance with her. Because we've got Kerri and Jorgeous all partnered up, Mistress and Nicole probably partnered up, and then Lydia floating around a little bit but wanting to be partnered up with Mistress, leaving Tina all alone. But as we see with placements this week, no alliance was needed. The top two this week go to Lydia B Kollins and Tina Burner, which actually kind of gagged me. I was really expecting a Mistress and Tina top two this week, but I wasn't too upset because this top two meant that we got to see Lydia lip sync again, and as we know, she's a killer lip syncer. She sent a few girls home on season 17, and she came to show us here on All Stars 10 that that was not a fluke. And I did watch this lip sync as well as the rest of the episode on my Patreon, which you can check out using the link below, where yes, you can join for free. So please, 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 Sabrina Carpenter, click that link below and join today. My final thoughts on this lip sync were, yes, Lydia slayed the house on Boots Escato, but I'm gonna call a little bit of shade here because it seemed to me like the edit was so heavily focused on Lydia that we almost didn't get a good idea of what Tina was doing there on the other side of the stage. Because I thought Tina was doing a pretty good job, and Lydia may have outperformed her, but how would we ever know without seeing the tapes? All though, I gotta say congrats to both of them. They both did a good job, but Lydia, she really is that girl. Which means Lydia, rightly so, I think wins this lip sync and leaves our scoreboard with Lydia at 3 points, Tina at 2, and the rest at 0 until they do the MVQ ceremony at the beginning of next week's episode. Which I've gotta say, I really enjoyed how they did the MVQ ceremony in the finale of the orange bracket, where they wrote the names on the mirrors and flipped them around. That was drama, it was juicy, it was like, what's gonna happen going on, and it also didn't give the queens a chance to like sit there and collude with who they were or weren't going to trade points with. And if we had that going on every single week, I think it would have added another layer of excitement and drama to the ends of the episodes, because right now this was just like, okay, great episode, but what's gonna happen? Concerning my final thoughts in the first part of the pink bracket though, this cast, this set of 6 queens is a great set of 6 queens to put together, and I'm already seeing how things in the next 2 episodes are gonna get even spicier and even crazier as the alliances truly start to form. And finally, let's talk hottest. For the entrance, I'm gonna give it to Kerri Colby, and the design challenge, I'm gonna give it to Tina Burner. I've also asked my patrons to vote on their hottest tots, and this week they have also chosen chosen Kerri Colby for the entrance and Tina Burner for the challenge. Oh, and y'all, please, please, please don't forget to click my link below or scan the QR code on screen to download Raid Shadow Legends today. They're giving all new players 2 epic champions plus a legendary champion when you redeem the code TreeHugger in-game. And I also want to give a special shout out to Ashton, Felicia, JBR, Laura, Matthew Burns, Mikal, Minst, and Will and Tanner, who are all supporting me at the Bussy Queen Collector tier at patreon.com. See y'all later. Love ya. Bye.